What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and a couple of other tickers, and break down what's happening with the overall market moving forward, what you should be watching for as time goes on, and how the market's looking in my personal opinion. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, this benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, let's talk about the market. How are things looking so far? The answer is bullish, straight up bullish. The market is continuing to pump very nicely after we got this data. So I'll talk about some levels and big things in just a minute. Just remember that the data came out and the market's getting a very positive reaction. Now, initial jobless claims was at 227,000. This is below expectations, showing some strength in the labor market. And this once again increases the odds of us getting a Fed cut. On top of this, I just wanted to mention that jobless claims were as expected, and then we also got some decent data from the Philly Fed. And then finally, industrial and manufacturing production numbers were decent as well. The market still got a positive reaction after that. And then we have a bunch of Fed speakers throughout the day. We have Harker giving a speech at 1:10 p.m. And besides that, we just have some bill auctions and nothing else that's too significant that's coming out. Most of the data that remains is very minor. So that's a good sign for the markets as the market's continuing to push. So the question is, how are things looking? Honestly, guys, we just had a giant cup that formed on SPY. This was a very, very simple setup, but what was very tricky about this is how we had so many resistance levels to break to really get this push, and we ended up just breaking one after another. As we approached each resistance, it became more tricky, but it just continued to pump, so it still remains bullish. So what I'm seeing is there's a little bit of resistance at 551. It's not that strong, though. That's not the strong resistance. The real strong resistance is going to be right here around 552 to about 555. But 552 is going to be the main level, which is where we have this imbalance. I think we could get very close to that. We'll see if SPY holds or not. But that's going to be the main resistance to watch for 552. Now, our support is at 550. We're going to be watching to see if that holds. If we lose 550, there's going to be a dip coming all the way down towards likely 549.5 and then 547. But just know that that hasn't happened yet, and the chart still favors upside very, very greatly. Now, I just want to call out that on the daily time frame, okay, in real time, SPY is looking very bullish right now. We're trying to fill this imbalance. There is this big gap to fill, but we need to lose 549.5 for there to be signs of us to fill that gap. And we haven't done so yet. So don't just short blindly. The market is still very, very bullish. The daily looks pretty nice. We just got a nice break on the PPO. And then when you look at the weekly is very bullish looking. So we're bullish, guys. We're just straight up bullish. There's nothing changing that. The market remains very, very nice. So we're continuing to push. One thing that's worth mentioning is that the market's always adjusting, and when new developments come, I sometimes have to change my analysis, the way I view things. I did mention that there was a risk in the markets because of all the rising wedges that were forming, but that was just a trap. And instead, the market just continued to push. I never said the market would have to dip because of that. I said to watch the levels for confirmation. And as a result, we actually broke to the upside. We broke the upper levels, so the market remains bullish. SPY is now forming a nice cup, looking more bullish. ES is looking bullish as well. We're looking at this resistance right here around 55.50. If this breaks, I think we could get very close to at least 55.80, then eventually 5600. If we reject, you're going to be looking to see if we end up losing 55.40. If that's the case, we're going back down towards the 55.10s. Nonetheless, ES is looking bullish, and I think there's a good chance we continue to pump. So far, it's doing a great job. Just look at resistance at 55.50, and we still remain bullish. For SPX, we look more bullish as well. If we end up losing support right here around 5,500, there's going to be a little bit of a dip. As long as we're above that, we favor upside. This imbalance is filling the daily and 4-hour looking bullish, and then this imbalance happens to be around 55.40. So SPX remains bullish. It's favoring upside. For Nvidia, we're looking more bullish overall, but there's a big but. This resistance is kind of tough around 121.5. It's a tough resistance, which is where we previously got a rejection. So we'll see how we react this time. If we break this resistance, we're going back up towards 124. So if 122 breaks, 121.5 breaks, then we're going up to 124. If we lose this support at 120, look for 118 and 116. But we still look bullish on Nvidia, and we're still favoring the upside. We're looking quite good so far. For Bitcoin, we're looking quite good. Look at resistance around 59,600. If this breaks, I think we could be pushing for the 60,500 plus area. Otherwise, we're just going to shuffle up here. It's a tough resistance at our 15-20 EMAs, but not bad so far. We have a big winner for the day. That's Tesla. We got a lot of AI hype today. Good news involving their expansions in Queensland, Australia, for their battery pack production and other very, very bullish catalysts. This is still doing a great job. So 212 is going to be your important support. As long as we hold above that, we remain bullish. We're looking at resistance at 215. If we break the 215s, we're going to be looking for basically resistance around just under 220, not to mention the 222 area. But we look more bullish. I think that we're favoring, trying to get back up to 220 plus, but whether or not that happens depends on 215. As long as we're above 212, we still favor the upside. That's the main support. So we're doing a great job. We still look bullish, especially on the daily and the 4 hour. For NQ, we look more bullish, making higher highs and higher lows. If we continue this pump, we're looking at 19,500 as resistance. If we break this, we're going to be looking at this imbalance fill towards 19,650. And if we reject here, we're going to be dipping back down towards 19,350. If that breaks, you're looking at 19,225. Those are going to be your two supports. We favor upside. It looks like it wants to go a lot higher. It looks pretty good so far. On the QQQ, we have a tough resistance around 472. If that breaks, our next target is going to be all the way up towards 475. But if we don't hold above 472, if we reject, I'm going to be looking at some support right here around 470. If that fails, look at 468. The chart is still remaining bullish. So to me, it's still doing a great job at holding up. Aapl has 225 as resistance. The last time we hit this, we did reject. So we'll see how it reacts here. If we manage to break that, we're going up towards 226.8. And if we do reject, I'll be looking for basically 222 to be retested. But so far, we are just shuffling. We look more bullish. For Supermicro, I called out 600. Lo and behold, we're at 600. This is no surprise. We also have this imbalance to fill, so I think it could go a little higher towards at least, I would say 616 or so. It's still possible to go a little higher. I think we came very close to that already, so it could go a little higher. But as long as we close above 16, we're fine. If we close below that, I'd be looking for 580 again. If we look bullish, SoFi looks bullish. We're approaching 6.92. It's doing a good job at holding up. The Russell's doing a good job. Looking at 212 as our resistance area. If we break this, I think we could get close to about 214. If we fail to hold 212, I'll be looking for basically 209, but the chart still remains bullish. Coinbase has resistance around 203. If we break this, we're going to pump even more. If we reject, we'll be dipping, but this looks bullish. I think 203 could be tested. If we lose 200 on Coinbase, by the way, I'll be looking at 198 again. Just wanted to call that out. Amazon, let me double check this. We look more bullish. So even though we had the rising wedge that's been invalidated, we actually broke to the upside. So I'm looking at 177 as our resistance right over here. If we break almost 170, I think it's 176.8 to 177. If that breaks, 180 is coming. If we don't break the 177 area, look for 175 as key supports. This chart looks bullish to me. Meta's looking very bullish. Nice breakout. We formed a nice accumulation structure. I was a little bit apprehensive yesterday because of the rising wedge, but honestly, guys, I'm not going to just worry about that for the time being. For now, we're just looking at this nice cup that's forming. I think we could approach 540, then 544 is resistance. Our key support's at 535, so we just remain bullish. Microsoft's looking pretty good right here. Look at 420 as resistance, and then we have our key support around basically this 415 area. So we are still favoring upside for 420 plus. For Google, we're looking pretty good. We're kind of shuffling right here between 163 and 160, but I would just say to just be very patient. We could dip a little bit on Google. It's just shuffling, but not really doing a whole lot. The VIX has lost support. It actually lost its 200 EMA. So now it's looking very bearish. There's no sign of it bouncing yet. And the dollar is just kind of flat, not really doing much as the market continues to push. So as a reminder, the market is bullish. We look very bullish. We're pumping very, very nicely. And the charts are favoring even more upside. We'll have to watch the 552 resistance on SPY. We're getting closer to it, but we're doing a great job so far. So we'll see how things go. With that being said, I want to thank you all so much for listening. Hope you guys have a great day. And I'll see you guys very soon in a couple of hours for another update. Thanks again, and peace out.